Welcome to KBS World Radio. You're now tuned in to Korea24's Korea Book Club, where we explore the world of Korean literature. This is our weekend replay edition, playing back our book segment from Wednesday's show. We hope you enjoy it. I'm your host, Kwon Jang-woo. We have joining us in the studio now our regular contributor and literary critic, Barry Welsh. Barry, hello. It's great to see you again.
Yes, hi. It's great to be here.
So what do you have for us this week?
So this week we are reviewing a newly translated novel called A Magical Girl Retires by Park Seolyeon. And the Korean title is 마법 소녀 은퇴합니다. And born in 1989, Park is a prominent South Korean novelist. She burst onto the literary scene in 2015 with a short story called The Mickey Mouse Club. And that won the Seolyeon Munhak New Writers Award. And then her acclaim continued to grow, and in 2018 she won the 23rd Hankori Literature Award for a novel called Kangjurong, The Woman in the Air. And her writing often highlights or focuses on the experiences of the marginalized, so women or the elderly or sexual minorities, and she brings their stories and struggles into the spotlight through powerful themes of love and social exclusion. And in this novel, in A Magical Girl Retires, she, along with a celebrated translator, Anton Hur, crafts a whimsical and at times reflective narrative about a millennial woman grappling with climate change and credit card debt. At 29 years old, the protagonist's life is upended by a job loss and overwhelming debt, and this leads her to the brink of despair on Seoul's Mapo Bridge. Her life then takes a very unexpected turn when she's saved by Roa, who is a clairvoyant magical girl who is searching for the greatest magical girl of all time, who might just be the protagonist of A Magical Girl Retires. And the novel sort of subverts the magical girl tropes and presents a reality where magic involves the mundane world alongside a more fantastical world. And the protagonist of the story is faced with, only special power is her magical credit card, and she must use this to tackle the looming threat of climate change. And this story intertwines the enchantment of fantasy with very poignant real-world issues. And I think Park does a very good job of reminding us that anyone can be a hero in the fight for a better world.
Right, so this novel seems to take on some very wide themes, some smaller issues, I guess, such as credit card debt, to saving the world and climate change, blending fantasy with some real-world struggles, it seems. When you say it playfully subverts the magical girl tropes, what do you mean by that? Can you explain a bit more about this magical girl subgenre? It comes from Japanese manga originally, right? Yeah,
right. So it's actually not a genre I'm familiar with at all, but it's a Japanese anime genre which has a legion of fans. If you start looking into it, you'll find that there are a lot of people who are very invested in this subgenre. But as far as I can tell, this is the first Korean version that's been translated into English. I'm not sure if there's many other examples in Korean, but this is a Korean spin on that Japanese anime genre. But from what I can gather, A Magical Girl Retires is a little bit different. So whereas traditionally or typically the Japanese anime stories usually focus on teenage heroines, A Magical Girl Retires focuses on a heroine who's a little bit older. It starts with the protagonist who's at a very low point in her life. She's dealing with job loss and financial distress and a very deep sense of personal failure. And during this very dark moment at the beginning of the story, she suddenly discovers that she is in fact destined to become a magical girl. But it doesn't play out quite like you might think it does. And unlike these more sort of typical magical girl stories where it's all about, where becoming a magical girl is about fighting evil and grand adventures, this novel presents it as more of a second chance at life.
Right.
And the protagonist in this story uses her new powers to confront not only these sort of physical problems, the more fantastical problems, but also her own psychological battles and issues. And it's really about her transformation from someone who feels defeated by life, defeated by the world, to someone who takes control and finds her place in the world. And this journey that she goes on, it's woven with both these very fantastical elements, but also with very realistic elements. So it's a narrative that resonates, I think, or will resonate with readers who might be facing their own struggles. And it's that blend, I think, of fantasy and real-world issues that make it relatable and enchanting.
Right, it sounds interesting. It sounds like an allegorical kind of tool that Park is using, this concept of the magical girl, to explore some more deeper underlying themes, it seems like. What is it, do you think, more that Park is looking to explore?
Yeah, right. So I think you're absolutely correct. So Park is definitely using the magical girl trope or genre to delve into more mature and more complex themes. So the magical girl stories seem to usually focus on young girls gaining powers to fight evil, and are usually seem to be about themes of friendship and perseverance. But in this story, in this novel, this trope is used to explore adult issues like mental health and societal pressure and existential crises. And the protagonist's journey as a magical girl is less about the external battles with fantastical creatures or monsters, and more about her internal struggles. So these powers that she has become a metaphor for self-discovery and personal empowerment. And so, for example, she learns to control and harness her magical abilities, but this is really parallel to her journey of just coming to terms with her past decisions and reclaiming her life from the brink of despair. And there's a few other things going on here as well. So Park is also addresses the idea of what it means to retire from being a magical girl, which is seems like a clever twist on the concept. So there's also things in there about the societal expectations placed on women in various different ways. She also seems to be questioning this idea of being forever young, and just through this narrative and the journey of the protagonist, Park seems to be inviting readers to reflect on their own lives and the sort of social norms that shape our identities. And it's an interesting commentary on, I think, the pressures of adulthood and the often overlooked challenges of mental and emotional health.
Indeed, it sounds like a very modern and fascinating take on this genre. And the story seems very much focused around the central character then, the protagonist, the heroine in the story. Can you tell us more about her and her journey as well? What sort of character is she, and what sort of journey does she go on?
Right, yeah. So this is at the beginning of the novel. She is deeply depressed. She's extremely disillusioned with her life. She's grappling with all of these problems: unemployment, financial instability, and just this general profound sense of failure that I think will resonate with many readers in the real world. And her discovery of these magical abilities doesn't instantly solve her problems. Instead, it really sets her on this journey of self-reflection and personal growth. And as the story progresses, her magical identity really just acts as a catalyst for her personal transformation.
So once again, it's called A Magical Girl Retires by Seolyeon, translated by Anton Hur. And that was our pick for this week's Korea Book Club. Barry, thank you for that review once again, and we'll see you again next time. Take care.
Okay, take care.
And that's all for this week's Korea Book Club. You can check out more of the works we discussed on our website at world.kbs.co.kr. Join us again next week.